On a windswept field beneath a gray sky, a man stands alone. His hands clasped behind his back, his coat billowing in the chill, he surveys the horizon not as a battlefield, but as a chessboard. The world to him is not chaos, but a puzzle to solve, a symphony waiting for his baton. He is Napoleon Bonaparte, a man born of revolution, forged in ambition, and undone by hubris. How did this son of Corsica rise to the heights of an emperor? And what drove him to gamble everything time and again until it all crumbled around him? Born in 1769 on the rugged island of Corsica, Napoleon was the second son in a family of modest means and towering aspirations. Corsica had only recently been annexed by France, and the Bonaparte family's identity was steeped in a mix of Corsican pride and the opportunities of French citizenship. This duality, a sense of belonging and alienation, would shape Napoleon's psyche. As a child, he was small and sickly, a boy who compensated for physical frailty with a sharp intellect and a burning need to prove himself. Sent to mainland France for schooling, Napoleon was thrust into an environment where his Corsican accent and modest background made him an outsider. He endured taunts and isolation, but instead of breaking, he channeled his frustration into determination. Napoleon's brilliance became evident during his military education. Mathematics, strategy, and history were not just subjects, but tools he wielded with precision. Yet beneath this brilliance lay an insatiable hunger for recognition, a desire to transcend his origins and etch his name into the annals of history. The French Revolution of 1789 shattered the old order, creating chaos and opportunity in equal measure. For Napoleon, it was the crucible that transformed him from a provincial officer into a national figure. As France descended into turmoil, Napoleon seized his chance, rising rapidly through the ranks by demonstrating both tactical brilliance and political savvy. By 1799, Napoleon had maneuvered himself into power, becoming first consul of France in a coup d'etat. 4 years later, he crowned himself emperor, a moment both theatrical and symbolic. By taking the crown from the Pope's hands and placing it on his own head, he proclaimed to the world that his power was self-made, not divinely ordained. As emperor, Napoleon's ambitions seemed boundless. He embarked on a series of campaigns that reshaped Europe, defeating coalitions of monarchs and redrawing borders with audacious precision. His victories at Austerlitz, Jena, and Wagram cemented his reputation as one of history's greatest military minds. But Napoleon's genius was matched by his contradictions. On the battlefield, he was a master of detail, able to juggle logistics, morale, and strategy with remarkable clarity. Yet off the battlefield, his decisions were often impulsive, driven by ego and an overestimation of his invincibility. The Napoleonic Code, his sweeping legal reform, showcased his capacity for order and vision. It unified French law and influenced legal systems worldwide. Yet his desire for control also led to the suppression of dissent, the curtailing of freedoms, and an obsession with his legacy that bordered on paranoia. Napoleon's psychology offers a study in dualities: confidence and insecurity, vision and myopia, ambition and overreach. He possessed an almost superhuman ability to inspire loyalty and to adapt to changing circumstances, but he was also deeply sensitive to criticism. The scars of his early life, when he had been an outsider mocked for his origins, never truly healed. They manifested in his relentless need for validation, his inability to tolerate dissent, and his compulsion to prove himself even when the stakes were impossibly high. Perhaps nowhere is this more evident than in his fateful decision to invade Russia in 1812. It was a campaign born of hubris, an attempt to force a recalcitrant ally, Tsar Alexander Bourbon, into submission. Napoleon's Grande Armée, A force of over 600,000 men drawn from across Europe marched into Russia with the confidence of past victories. But the Russian campaign revealed the limits of Napoleon's genius. The vast distances, the harsh climate, and the scorched earth tactics of the Russians turned his strength into weakness. The retreat, conducted in the brutal cold of the Russian winter, was a harrowing ordeal that decimated his forces. This failure marked the beginning of the end. In 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate and was exiled to the island of Elba. Yet even in defeat, his psychological resilience shone through. Within a year, he escaped Elba and returned to France, rallying an army and reclaiming power in the dramatic 100 Days. It was a final act of defiance, a testament to his unyielding will. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 sealed his fate. Defeated by the combined forces of Britain and Prussia, Napoleon was captured and exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. Here, stripped of power and surrounded by hostile guards, he spent his final years writing memoirs, shaping his legacy as a misunderstood genius and a martyr of ambition. Through a psychological lens, Napoleon's story is one of both triumph and tragedy. His rise reflects the power of intelligence, charisma, and determination to overcome even the most daunting odds. Yet his fall reveals the dangers of unchecked ambition, the perils of believing one's own myth. Napoleon saw himself as a man of destiny, chosen to remake the world. This belief drove him to extraordinary heights, but it also blinded him to his limitations, his inability to accept defeat, to compromise, or to prioritize long-term stability over immediate glory led to his undoing. Today, Napoleon's legacy endures as both inspiration and cautionary tale. He reshaped Europe, revolutionized warfare, and left an indelible mark on history. But his story also serves as a reminder of the cost of greatness, the fine line between ambition and hubris, and the psychological complexities that drive extraordinary individuals to change the world, at any cost. In the end, Napoleon remains an enigma, a man whose brilliance and flaws were inextricably linked. His life, like the empires he built and lost, was a testament to the heights of human potential and the depths of its contradictions. On the wind-swept island of St. Helena, as he gazed out at the endless sea, perhaps Napoleon reflected not just on the battles he fought, but on the forces within himself that had shaped his extraordinary destiny.